Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question asks if I can analyze the appearance of Olivia Jade Giannulli on the Facebook watch show Red Table Talk in December of 2020. Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. So first I'll cover a little bit of the background, get to a summary of the Red Table Talk episode, and then offer my analysis. Giannulli refers to herself as Olivia Jade, so I'll just refer to her as Jade. Olivia Jade was born on September 28, 1999. Her father is a fashion designer, and her mother is a famous actress, Lori Loughlin, who was on the show Full House and Fuller House. Jade also has an older sister named Isabella. When Jade was in high school, she started a YouTube channel and an Instagram account. Her YouTube channel had millions of subscribers. She found a number of endorsements and was earning quite a bit of revenue. Based on the content of her videos, it appears as though she was some type of lifestyle and beauty influencer. She was able to influence other people's money into her pockets. Jade caused an accident in her motor vehicle in 2017 while she was recording herself on a smartphone. She would graduate high school in 2018 and briefly attend the University of Southern California. Jade's mother and father were arrested and later convicted in connection with a college admissions fraud. Her mother was sentenced to 2 months in prison and her father 5 months. I would think the irony of Lori Loughlin going from Full House to Fuller House to the Big House would only serve to amplify her punishment. I guess some people just need to collect the whole set. Jade's parents paid $500,000 in bribes to a coach at USC in order to get Jade and her older sister designated as athletic prospects for the rowing team. This would make it possible for Jade and her sister to get into USC. It appears as though Jade did not know how to complete the application to get in USC, so an individual involved in the fraud actually completed it for her. I wonder if that should have been Jade's first clue that she wasn't well suited for that school. It's not clear if Jade really knew about the crime, but she did pose for a picture on a rowing machine, even though she was not a competitive rower. Jade made it pretty clear in social media posts that she was not into learning and really just wanted to party at USC. Whether she knew about the crime or not, Jade's career as a social media influencer was greatly affected by the fraud. She lost many of her endorsements and was generally frowned upon by the public. In December of 2019, she released a 2-minute video on her YouTube channel titled Hi Again, which has been viewed over 6 million times. It appears as though she was trying to return to her influencer career, but perhaps she didn't receive the reception she had hoped for. This brings us to Jade's appearance on Red Table Talk about a year later in December of 2020. This episode featured 3 hosts: Jada Pinkett Smith, her daughter Willow, and her mother Adrienne Banfield Norris. It appears as though Jade requested to be on the show to achieve redemption. Before Jade even sits at the table, we see a discussion between Smith and Banfield Norris that sets up a little bit of a good cop, bad cop dynamic. Smith wants to extend compassion to Jade, even though Jade epitomizes white privilege, while Banfield Norris is more skeptical and actually opposed Jade's appearance on the show. Here's a summary of the rest of the episode where Jade joins the discussion. Jade essentially said that the experience has been eye-opening. She is embarrassed and ashamed. She wanted to come on Red Table Talk because it was someplace where she could feel safe. She can't justify what happened, but she wants to learn from it, and she believes she deserves a second chance. She talked about how she has processed all this. At first she wondered why people were so mad, but then she realized that she took her privilege for granted. She said that she is misunderstood. She said she trusted the college counselor and thought her parents were just trying to be helpful. In one particularly interesting moment, Jade tells Banfield Norris that she wants to hear what Banfield Norris has to say, but then Jade keeps talking. Smith actually revisited that invitation and allowed Banfield Norris to say what was on her mind. So we see good tracking skills here from Smith. The episode ends on a happy note, with Smith referring to Jade as a brave girl. Now, what's notable by its absence was the answer to the question, what exactly did Jade know? That's the question on everyone's mind. She kind of touched on it by saying she was not aware of what was going on during the application, but she never really answered that question. Here's my analysis of this episode. The entire 30 minutes really seemed forced and staged to some degree, although I did think there were some excellent points made by Banfield Norris. I think she was saying what a lot of people were thinking. This episode almost seemed like a PR stunt to restore Jade to her former glory of social media influencer, and Banfield Norris realized that. Some have argued that when social media influencers make mistakes, they don't all have the opportunity to go on a show like Red Table Talk where millions of people can hear their apology. But this part I'm actually okay with. Jade is a public figure, which is why anybody knows about this case in the first place, so it makes sense that she should attempt to apologize in a similar form. What I didn't like was the strategy she used to achieve redemption. Before I get too into that part, I think it's important to note that as a person, Jade doesn't need redemption to be successful. She will be just fine with or without it. This whole scandal will cease to have any meaningful impact on her within a few years. What's really at stake here is her social media influencer career. That's really what this discussion is about, and not about some type of global redemption. It's a specific redemption. The few years that she needs to wait for all this to blow over can be very costly in terms of endorsements. She does not want to sit on the sidelines and wait for a new developmental stage of life. She wants to capitalize on her ability to be an influencer right now. So moving back to the strategy that she's using, the one I thought was ill-advised, it seemed as though Jade was planning on collecting forgiveness from these three hosts and looking forward to a quick trip on the road to redemption. This was really about saying a few words and patching everything up. The problem is that forgiveness and redemption are not about words. They are about behavior. Her apology, her acknowledgement that she did something wrong, is part of that process, but not the majority of it. It's not the part that people really care about. What she really should have done is scheduled this interview to say that she was going to change her behavior and offered nothing else. She should have had no expectation that something would be done on her behalf or people's view of her would change in any way. Rather, she should have said she's going to make the change and actually gone into the community and volunteered. She should have made the change that she was talking about. Then she could come back in about 5 years to that show or another similar show and say, look, for the last several years, this is what I've done in the community, and here's what I've learned. I don't know if this is acceptable or not for redemption. I'll let you be the judge of that. During the episode, Jade said that she deserved a second chance, a comment which has attracted some criticism. But as I look at this case, stepping back from it, I agree that a second chance should be a possibility for Olivia Jade. I don't think it can be earned in just a moment of appearing on some show, but I think considering her age and the fact that her parents really seem to be the driving force behind the crime, I think it makes sense that she would have some path to redemption. I think she has a great opportunity here to use this experience to help the community and to grow as a person. I don't think a disingenuous and staged PR stunt was the way to go. I think this actually serves as evidence that Jade has not gained the insight about her behavior that she claims she has gained. I'm always concerned when people who have a tremendous lack of insight claim that they just went from 0 to 100. They just went from no insight to a relatively perfect understanding of the world. Insight increases along a continuum. It's not like a light switch. The fact that she was not aware of something and now she is aware of it is a good sign, but it indicates that she needs to start reflecting and talking to other people, not to declare herself as the victor over her lack of insight. That's not how it works. To me, that's like someone who drank alcohol excessively for 30 years, who stops drinking for a month, and they say the world is completely different. They now realize what they did wrong. No, not after a month, but it is a good start. It is the beginning of a long and painful journey. One could argue that a social media influencer is successful when they demonstrate talent and or represent a role model for people. In the case of Jade, that really only leaves the latter as a window to success. So the question becomes, what can Jade do to make herself a positive role model? Whatever it is, it's going to take a long time. Those are my thoughts on Olivia Jade. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis on this topic to be interesting. Thanks for watching.